Dear student, in the present class we shall discuss about the physical properties of ethers. As we know already, what are the topics will be included in the physical properties? The first one is physical state and odor, the second one is solubility, and the third one is boiling points. Firstly, we shall consider the physical state and odor. Physical state and odor. Okay. Here, when you take the ethers, the first two compounds. What are the first two compounds of the ethers? One is methoxymethane, and the second one is the methoxyethane. Methoxyethane. These are gases at room temperature. These are gases at room temperature. These are gases at room temperature. And the remaining higher ethers are liquids at room temperature, and these are highly volatile liquids. Rest of the ethers are highly volatile liquids. Highly volatile liquids whose BP is very low, whose boiling points, whose BP is very low, because of absence of intermolecular hydrogen bonding, okay. And these are highly inflammable, means readily catch fire, okay, readily catches fire, okay. And these ethers have pleasant odor. These have characteristic odors, okay. So this is about the physical state and odor. See, the first two ethers are gases at room temperature. Next, higher compounds of ethers are highly volatile liquids, and those are having very low boiling point because of absence of intermolecular hydrogen bonding, and these are highly inflammable, means readily catches the fire, and these have pleasant odor, okay. Let's talk about the solubility of these compounds. Solubility. Yes, usually like dissolves in like, means organic compounds are soluble in organic compounds, means when you take the organic solute, put into the organic solvent, it will be readily soluble, okay. Apart from that, these ethers are soluble in water, okay. Ethers are soluble in water. See, for any compound to be soluble in water, it has to match the properties of water. So we know the properties of water is, it is a polar one, okay, and it makes a hydrogen bonding. Yes, if ethers are performing these two, then it will be soluble in the water, okay. Yes, let's take ethers. The first point is it is a weakly polar. Ethers are weakly polar. Okay. Next, and these are making hydrogen bonding with the water. It makes hydrogen bonding with water. Let's let us see how the ether molecules are making hydrogen bonding with the water, okay. Take the ether molecule, okay. You know the oxygen will be having lone pair of electron, okay, and it is a delta minus, okay, and because it pulls bonding electrons from alkyl group to this oxygen, and here also it is a delta minus, okay. Now consider the water molecule, okay, like this, okay, and here also delta minus. Okay, this hydrogen is delta plus because it is losing electrons to the oxygen. Here also it is same, delta plus it is. Okay, now there is a formation of hydrogen bonding between the most electronegative oxygen with the hydrogen. Okay, here you can see that this makes hydrogen bonding with hydrogen of water and oxygen of ether. Okay, here also. So it is the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. It is the hydrogen bonding. So in this way, the ethers are soluble in water. Okay, as the size of the alkyl groups increases, hydrophobic nature increases and becomes less soluble in water. Means the first few compounds are readily soluble in water and the higher members of the ethers are immiscible with water. Okay. Let us consider the third physical property, that is boiling point. That is boiling point of ethers. So as we have already discussed, the ethers are weakly polar in nature and are not having the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Therefore, the BP of ethers is very less when compared to that of alcohols. Okay, so let's take a order of BP. Order of BP. The alcohols are having high BP, okay, than the aldehydes. These are having high BP than the ethers. Okay, yes, it is because the alcohols are polar and also make H bonding, that is hydrogen bonding, intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Here aldehydes are polar but no hydrogen bonding, that is no intermolecular hydrogen bonding, no intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, and here these are weakly polar, these are weakly polar. Here also no intermolecular hydrogen bonding, no intermolecular hydrogen bonding. The one which is sufficiently polar and have the intermolecular hydrogen bonding, like in alcohols, will have high boiling points. Now in case of aldehydes, these are sufficiently polar but not having intermolecular hydrogen bonding, that is why whose boiling point is less. Okay, come to the ethers. Here these are not sufficiently polar, these are weakly polar in nature and not making the intermolecular hydrogen bonding, that is why these will have a very low BP. Okay, so this is all about the physical properties of ethers. Now let us discuss about the chemical properties of ethers. Dear students, now we shall discuss about the chemical properties of ethers. Here we have to discuss about two major important reactions, that is reactions involving cleavage of CO bond. Cleavage of CO bond in ethers. CO bond in ethers. Yes, after this we have to discuss about the electrophilic substitution reactions. Electrophilic substitution reaction. Okay, firstly we shall consider the cleavage of CO bond in ethers. Okay, how and when it will be done. Okay, it can be done with the help of addition of HX molecules, that is a hydrogen halides. Let us consider the addition of hydrogen halides to this. Here there is important thing to consider, the order of reactivity for hydrogen halides varies like this. Okay, it is already discussed that this order of reactivity is dependent on the bond dissociation enthalpies. When you take the order of bond dissociation enthalpies, bond dissociation enthalpy, it will be in this order. Okay, that is bond dissociation enthalpy of HI is very less. That is why it is readily undergoing the chemical reactions than the HBr, next than the HCl. Okay. So based on the bond dissociation enthalpy, there is a order of reactivity for hydrogen halides. The one with the lowest bond dissociation enthalpy will readily undergo the chemical reactions because it is easy to break that bond. Okay. Yes. Now let us consider general representation of this. Take the ROR dash. Take the ROR dash and add the HX. Add the HX. What happens here? Any of the bond, either this or this will break down. For example, here there is a bond breakage. Okay. So what happens? This will be minus, this will be plus. Okay, delta minus, this will be delta plus. It will, the negative will catch the H plus ion from this. Okay, and the delta minus will be taken up by the delta plus. Okay, like this. Now what happens? RO combines with this H and gives the ROH. Okay, gives the ROH. This is what? An alcohol. This is an alcohol. Okay. Now this R dash will combine with the X will give R dash X. Okay. So what is this? Haloalkane. This is haloalkane. That is when ethers are treated with hydrogen halides, you will get alcohol and haloalkane. If you take the excess of HX, if you take the excess of HX, one more HX here, okay, what happens? The alcohol present in that mixture, okay, alcohol present in the mixture also react with one more HX. That is, if you take a more number of HX, that is in excess of hydrogen halide, the ether will convert it into the haloalkanes. See here, the CO bond breaks and here it is delta plus and it is delta minus. Here in HX it is delta plus, it is delta minus. That delta plus is taken up by the delta minus. So you will get Rx plus H2O. So what is this? This is haloalkane. So now you write the overall reaction for this. Now you write the overall reaction for this. What happens? On left hand side we have ROR dash, ROR dash. Okay, you are adding HX, that is 2 moles of HX here. Okay, ROH alcohol here gets cancelled with ROH on right hand side. Okay, next what is left? R dash X, Rx. Okay, you are getting R dash X plus Rx plus H2O plus H2. So this is the overall reaction. This is the overall reaction when excess of HX is taken. When excess of HX is taken. Excess of HX is taken. Okay. Here 1 mole of ether is reacting with 2 moles of HX to give haloalkanes. Okay. If R and R dash are same groups, then you will get a similar kind of the haloalkanes. Okay. If R and R dash are different, you will get a different haloalkanes. Okay. This is about the cleavage of CO bond. See here in the alkyl part there will be carbon. Okay. In this, here also carbon, here also carbon. You can see the cleavage of CO bonds. Okay. Cleavage of CO bonds. Okay. This is all about the cleavage of CO bond in ethers by the addition of HX. Now let us consider the suitable examples. Now let us consider the suitable example, that is CH3O C2H5. We can write this C2H5 as CH2O CH3. Okay. Now what is the name of the compound? Methoxyethane. What is the name of the compound? Methoxyethane. This is the IUPAC name, and the common name, you know, this is ethyl methyl ether. Ethyl methyl ether. Okay. When you add the HX to this, when you add 1 mole of HX, for example, you are going to add HI to this, what happens? Okay, here where the CO bond breaks initially, when you take excess of HI, that is 2 moles of HI, both the CO bonds break. But when you take 1 mole of HI, where the CO bond breaks, okay, either here or here. It is all dependent on the stability of carbocation, that is cleavage of CO bond is dependent on the is dependent on the stability of carbocation, on the stability of carbocation, on the stability of carbocation, on the stability of carbocation. That is, when you look at the order of stability of carbocation, okay, order of stability of carbocations, okay, order of stability of carbocations, the allyl carbocations are more stable, then benzyl carbocations are more stable, and in the primary, secondary and tertiary, the tertiary carbocation is more stable than the secondary carbocation, then the next primary carbocation. Okay, yes, depending on the stability of carbocations, the cleavage of CO will be done. Okay, now if a bond cleaves here, this will be ethyl carbocation, and if bond cleaves here, it will be methyl carbocation. Okay, when you compare the stability order, when you take the stability order of ethyl carbocation, okay, ethyl carbocation and methyl carbocation, here ethyl carbocation will be having more stability because of presence of electron donating group, that is a methyl group, and here it occurs inductive effect, here it occurs inductive effect like this. Okay, here it can donate the electrons towards this electron deficient carbon, and it try to nullify the positive charge, and therefore it will be more stable than this. Okay, so here there occurs inductive effect, here occurs inductive effect, due to that effect it is more stable, and here also occurs hyperconjugation, and the inductive effect takes place simultaneously in this ethyl carbocation, and it makes this stable ethyl carbocation, but these are unavailable in the methyl carbocation, hence it is less stable. Therefore the preference will be given for the cleavage of this. So here when it takes the bonding electrons towards itself, it becomes delta minus, it is delta plus, no? And after the cleavage of bond, it will be purely minus, it will be purely plus. Now at the present case, we shall consider delta minus and delta plus. Here also delta plus and delta minus. That plus will be taking this minus, okay, and H plus ion will be taking by this. So you will get a CH3OH plus CH3CH2I. Okay, so what are the names? This is a methanol, okay, alcohol, and this is a iodoethane, this is iodoethane. So you have to carefully observe where the cleavage of CO bond takes place, and it is all dependent on the stability of carbocation. Okay, next we shall consider another example, that is, let's take tertiary CH3 CH3 CH3. Say in this case, when you add HI molecule, where the bond breaks, which CO bond breaks, either this one or this one. Okay, if this breaks, you will get a methyl carbocation. If this breaks, you will get tertiary butyl carbocation. You know that in the stability of the carbocations, this tertiary butyl carbocation and in the methyl carbocation, obviously this will be more stable, because here there is much inductive effect on this carbon, okay, and also more hyperconjugation. The one with a greater inductive effect and greater hyperconjugation in the carbocations, it will be more stable than the one with no such effects. Okay, so here the CO bond breaks here. Okay, now you will get CH3, CH3, CH3I plus CH3OH. So what is this compound? It is consider the word root. This is a propane and second position methyl and iodo. So here it is 2 iodo, 2 methyl. Propane is the IUPAC name. Okay. Or in common system, it is called as tertiary butyl bromide. Tertiary butyl bromide in the common system, and it is what? Methanol. Okay, methanol. Okay, so in like this you have to predict the major product. This is the major product. Okay, okay, yes. Here let us consider the aryl ethers. Take any one of the aryl ether, for example, anisole. This is what? Anisole. It is very important ether, and whose IUPAC name is also very important. That is methoxybenzene. That is methoxybenzene. Methoxybenzene. Okay, what happens if you add HI to this molecule? Okay, so you know that this hydrogen is delta plus, this I is delta minus, and here which will be the stable carbocation. Okay, and here you have to observe the important feature of this benzene ring in association with the oxygen. Okay, here the lone pair of electrons present on the oxygen are in conjugation with the benzene ring. It makes a partial double bond character here like this. When you take the benzene which is bonded to the oxygen, here you have the lone pair of electrons. These jump over here and this will jump over here, and it results in resonance structures like this. Okay, yes, here there is a chance like this due to the loss of lone pair of electrons, and it is becoming a bond, pi bond here, and these electrons are shifted here, and the structure will be like this. Means here the lone pair of electrons on oxygen are in resonance with the benzene ring. Now it is making a partial double bond character here. It is making a partial double bond character. So when this is the case, the cleavage of this CO bond is not possible. Cleavage of CO bond is difficult. So here this CO bond does not break, but this CO bond breaks readily. So now you can see after adding HI to this anisole, you will get this O will be as it is. Okay, this will be minus, this will take the H plus ion, becomes a OH and CH3I. So what is this? This is a phenol, and this is iodomethane. In this way, the cleavage of CO bond takes place. The cleavage of CO bond does not take place between the benzene carbon and oxygen. It takes place in alkyl part. That is, alkyl CO bond breaks. Breaks, but not aryl CO bond. Okay, this is an important feature in this case. Okay, that results in the formation of phenol. This is all about the cleavage of CO bond in ethers. Now we shall discuss about electrophilic substitution reactions. It takes place only in aryl ethers but not in alkyl ethers. Okay, Yes, let us consider the aryl ether. Okay, yes, this is that. This is a general representation of the aryl ether. The oxygen will have two lone pair of electrons. Now these are in conjugation with the benzene ring. Okay, I already told that these are in conjugation. For example, these are lone pair electron is in conjugation. See here, the lone pair of electrons are converted as pi electrons. Pi electrons are converted into the lone pair of electrons. It takes place. Okay, now when these lone pair of electrons are undergoing conjugation, it makes a pi bond. Okay, now look at these carbon atoms. This is already having 4 bonds. How? Here 2 bonds, this is another, this is another, so totally 4 bonds. So this is satisfying the tetravalency of carbon. Now if these lone pair of electrons are making a pi bond, it becomes a 5 bonds on the carbon. It is unacceptable. Okay, that is why this carbon will shift these pi electrons into becoming lone pair of electrons. Okay, now the resonance structure starts. Let us see the resonance structures of this ether. Okay, carefully observe the resonance structures. Here you are getting the double bond due to the conversion of this lone pair of electrons as a pi bond. It is OR, and here you have one lone pair of electron, and here the oxygen has lost one lone pair, therefore it gets a positive charge. Now these are becoming as a lone pair of electrons, that is indicated with the negative charge. Okay, and these are not disturbed. Okay, further it is unstable, that is why these will shift here and this will shift here. Okay, that is a conjugation of pi electrons on each and every carbon in the benzene ring takes place. Okay, now it results in one more resonance structure like this. Here you get a positive charge, negative, here you get a pi bond, and this is a negative charge. It is undisturbed. It is double bond O with R, one lone pair of electrons and positive charge. And here this is unstable, this again shifts, and here shifting of electrons takes place on this carbon. Now it becomes a pi bond here. Here is already pi bond, here it is negative charge, and double bond O with R, lone pair of electrons and positive charge on this. It is also unstable. It pushes the pi electrons onto this. Okay, now it takes back it's a lone pair of electrons. Now finally we get the pi bonds here, here and here, with one single bond between the carbon and oxygen. Okay, now it is taking back the pi electrons as a lone pair of electrons. Now it is this compound. See, if you consider this as carbon 1 and carbon 2, here there is no pi bond, but here if you consider there is a pi bond. Okay, this is all due to the shifting of the pi electrons on each and every carbon. Okay, yes, it results in a, we have to consider the resonance hybrid like this. Okay, this is the actual structure of the benzene ring. Okay, or the phenol or ether. Usually the resonance hybrids are actual structures of the compounds. Okay, OR. Okay, now here you can see the delocalization of pi electrons. Means the pi electrons are completely revolving around this. Okay, on each and every carbon. This is called as a resonance hybrid. Okay, when you look at this structure and look at the resonance structures from here to here, from here to here, these are all resonance structures. This is compound 1, compound 2 are resonance structure 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, where you can see the electron rich densities at this position. This is the ortho position. Okay, it is having electron rich density. It is also ortho position, therefore delta minus. Okay, come to this. This is a para position with respect to this. This is also electron rich density. Okay, this is again ortho. Means here the alkoxy group. Okay, alkoxy groups, that is OR, are electron donating groups. Alkoxy are electron donating groups, and directs the incoming electrophile, and directs the incoming electrophile, incoming electrophile, electrophile towards ortho and para positions, towards ortho and para positions on benzene. See, usually the electron donating groups that such as alkoxy or hydroxy methyl groups, that is alkyl groups, will activates the benzene ring at ortho position, para position, and at ortho position. Now there is electron rich densities at these positions. If any electrophile is coming, if any electrophile, that is electron deficient species is coming, it will attack either at this or at these positions. Okay, that is why the alkoxy electron donating groups directs the incoming electrophile towards ortho and para positions on benzene ring, as these positions are electron rich. Okay, yes. Now we shall continue with this electrophilic substitution, where it will take place at ortho or para positions. We shall consider the halogenation here. Okay, halogenation. You may consider the bromination specifically. Okay, let us talk about the bromination of anisole. Okay, bromination of anisole. Bromination of anisole. Using bromine in acetic acid. Okay, take the anisole. Take the anisole, yes, and add the bromine in acetic acid. Acetic acid here, it acts as a polar solvent. It acts as a polar solvent, and here replacement of hydrogen, that is as H plus electrophile, takes place with the bromine cation, that is Br plus. Okay, this is a electrophilic substitution reaction. Okay, and here there is a OCH3 and here there is Br, bromo. Say this is a para bromo or 4 bromo anisole. Para or 4 bromo anisole, and it is a major compound. Why it is taken as a major product? Because here the substituent groups methoxy and bromo are far away from each other, and it causes less repulsive forces. Okay, when you take the minor compound, that is 2 bromo, okay, that is 2 bromo anisole, like this, 2 bromo anisole. Here you can see the bulky groups are nearer to each other and causes repulsive forces. That is why this type of products are unstable and will be formed with the least quantities. So we consider it as minor product. Therefore we consider it as minor product. So here we can also call it as para bromoanisole or orthobromoanisole. This is a para product, this is a ortho product. Okay, yes, let us consider the nitration of anisole. Let us consider the nitration of anisole. In the bromination of anisole, the electrophile is bromonium ion or Br plus. Okay, now let us consider the nitration of anisole. Here the electrophile is nitronium ion. It is called as a nitronium ion. Okay, now take the anisole, that is a methoxybenzene, and subject it for nitration using nitrating mixture. So what is nitrating mixture? It is a mixture of concentrated nitric acid and concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, what happens? It produces nitronium ion, that is the electrophile. It attacks on the anisole. Okay, so again here also the para nitroanisole is a major product. is a major product, and the orthonitroanisole orthonitroanisole will be the minor product, will be minor product. The orthonitroanisole is a minor product, is a minor product because of the same reasons. Okay, here steric repulsions are less and it is a major product. Okay, yes, let us consider the very important reaction, that is a Friedel-Crafts alkylation. Friedel-Crafts alkylation. We also consider the acylation later. Okay, Friedel-Crafts alkylation. Okay, here take the anisole. Okay, methoxybenzene is also called anisole. When it is treated with the alkyl halide, when it is treated with the alkyl halide, for example, take the methyl bromide. Okay, methyl bromide. Okay, yes, in the presence of anhydrous aluminum chloride, it acts as a catalyst. Okay, and a less polar solvent like carbon disulfide. Okay, here you can see the electrophile is the methyl carbocation. You may take CH3Br or CH3Cl. Okay, and it is the catalyst. Okay, what is the catalyst here? Anhydrous AlCl3. Catalyst is anhydrous AlCl3. It is a Lewis acid. Means it is an electron pair acceptor. Means it is a delta minus, it is a delta plus. No, it will be taken up by this anhydrous aluminum chloride and this will be coming out. Okay, CH3 plus. This acts as an electrophile. Now it attacks at ortho or para position because those positions are electron rich in the anisole. Okay, yes, take down this. You get this OCH3 here, CH3 here. This is called as paramethoxytoluene. Or 4-methoxy. Here we are giving the preference for this. Okay, this is a methoxy group and benzene with the CH3 is called as a toluene. Okay, this is a hydrocarbon, no? Okay, and we call these ethers as alkoxy alkanes in the IUPAC system. So this is a methoxy toluene. It is a major product. Okay, and what is the another one? That is orthomethoxytoluene. Okay, that is orthomethoxytoluene. It is a minor product. Orthomethoxy or 2-methoxytoluene. It is a minor product. Okay. Yes. Let us consider about the Friedel-Crafts acylation. Okay. Let us consider the Friedel-Crafts acylation. Friedel-Crafts acylation. Acylation means you are going to insert, okay, or substitute the acetyl group or acyl group. Okay, let us see what is that. Take the anisole. Okay, that is OCH3. It is the methoxybenzene and treat this with the acetyl chloride or acetic anhydride or anything. Okay, for example, I am going to use acetyl chloride. In the presence of the same catalyst, anhydrous AlCl3. So you know that anhydrous AlCl3 is a Lewis acid, means electron pair acceptor, and it acts as a catalyst. Okay, now the Cl minus will be taken by this. Okay, the electrophile is CH3CO plus. Electrophile is acetyl group, that is CH3CO plus. This is called as acetyl group. Okay, and here you will get OCH3. Now the para is the major product, that is COCH3. This is called as para methoxy acetophenone. Para methoxy acetophenone. This is the major product. See how the name is given for this. It is methoxy and it is the phenol group. Okay, here this benzene with the CO is called as phenol. The methyl with the CO is called as aceto. Okay, here ketonic is the major functional group. Ketonic group, CO, carbonyl is there, no? This is a major functional group. Okay, and here OCH3, it is a substituent. Okay, this is not a functional group, this is a substituent. So for this we are taking the prefix and for this we are taking the suffix. Okay, so overall it is a para methoxy acetophenone, or you can also take this as 4-methoxy acetophenone. It is the major product. And what will be the minor product? Definitely orthomethoxy acetophenone. Ortho, that is OCH3 COCH3. This is called orthomethoxy acetophenone. Here the name is the same but the positions are different. This is para, this is ortho. This is a major, this is a minor product. Okay, in all these cases also the naming is same. Okay, 1,4 positions are called as para, 1,2 positions are called as ortho, and ortho is the minor product and para is the major product because of difference in their steric repulsions. Okay, so this is all about electrophilic substitution reactions. Hence the chapter is completed. So far we have discussed about the alcohols, phenols and ethers. In all the cases the topics are very similar. Firstly we will discuss about the definition and classification, the nomenclature, okay, and preparation, okay, then the physical property and chemical properties. Okay, in the alcohols, phenols and ethers we are discussing about these 6 topics, that is definition, you have to remember this in all these 3 types of compounds. Next, classification, nomenclature, then the preparation, physical properties and chemical properties. After these 6 important, we have also studied some important chemical compounds like methanol, ethanol, phenol and the diethyl ether separately. These are very important compounds in the day-to-day life. Okay, yes, it is very easy topic. Keep practicing the in-text questions given in the NCERT. Now my discussion is all based on the NCERT syllabus, NCERT topics which are there in this unit. Okay, apart from this I can also teach some other topics which are not included here, and you may also refer some private author books to gain more knowledge. Okay, if you like my videos, please comment in the comment section in the YouTube. Okay, thank you very much.